All right, everybody. Good evening. The injury report is finally out. I know it took a little bit longer than usual, but last couple of weeks there have been a few instances of a late night injury report, so we're just going to go ahead and go with the flow here. Nemhauser has the latest for both sides, and there's actually quite a bit of interesting stuff going on with this report. A lot of things to consider here for both sides, and neither team is going to be thrilled with their report, although there's going to be some silver linings as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. First, though, please give this video a like and sub to the channel if you are new. So going, just kind of blowing up the image that he has here in the tab, you can see that while the list for Seattle is fairly long, a lot of the players are full participants, so it's very doubtful there's anything to actually worry about them missing the game. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. So yeah, we got AJ Barner, elbow and hip. So he does have some ailments, but full participation, so nothing to really be concerned about. Keep in mind, by the way, this was a walkthrough, so everything is kind of an estimate, but typically the estimates bear out fairly fairly accurate as the week goes on. So AJ Barner, fine. Derek Hall, hand injury coming off that one game suspension, but a full participant, so he should be fine. Josh Jobe with the wrist injury, full participation though, no issues. Jobe is becoming more of a part-time player now anyway, but it's nice to have him around. I still like what he's doing, so full participant. Abraham Lucas with the neck injury. I think he was here last week and full participation, so doesn't seem like anything to be concerned about. And Tai Okada with the oblique and the knee injury listed as a full participant. So not too bad, pretty workable, pretty solid. All those guys should be fully available for the game. Now, we got some limited participants here as well, and one of them I'm actually pretty excited about, Kobe Bryant, a limited participant with the knee injury. So it's Tuesday, got plenty of time before the game. If he's already a limited participant, that gives him, I think, a decent chance of being ready for the game on Saturday. And even if he's not, Okada should be ready to go. We can live through another game without Bryant, and it does indicate that he will be ready for the postseason. So I am going to take that as good news. Now, the Shaheed was listed as a limited participant, but remember, it's a concussion, and often when you have a concussion, you're going to be a limited participant simply because there are some things that you're still going to be able to do, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to play. So the way I read this is that while Shaheed didn't have any injuries other than the concussion, I still would expect that the concussion is going to keep him out. It's better than a DNP, though, so maybe he's further along than expected, and maybe you got to give him a chance. I'll see what happens over the next couple of days here, but limited is probably a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. Again, it's just a walkthrough, so everything is kind of whatever, but still, I mean, I fully expected him to be a DNP, so it's better than what I thought we were getting. Still, though, don't get your hopes up. Now, there's one thing going on with this injury report that is very alarming, and I did not need to see this. I'm just going to say it. I did not need to see this. Charles Cross, still a DNP with the hamstring. That's expected. But Josh Jones with an ankle injury and a knee injury, also listed as a DNP. This is the last thing I needed to see right now. Josh Jones is playing respectably well in replacing Charles Cross. Now he's got two different ailments and was projected to not practice today. That is kind of a disaster. We are very close to having somebody like Amari Kite, a UDFA, I believe, rookie, start in a very important game for the Seahawks. This is not what I needed to see. This is not what I wanted to see. I guess the silver lining is the Niners have maybe the worst pass rush in football, but my God, are we really going to be down to practice squatters at left tackle? Sam Darnold's blind side? Yeah, I did not need to see this tonight. I'm just going to go and say that. And even though those are the only DNPs, they're big DNPs. So tomorrow we're going to get another practice report, the Wednesday report. We better have one of those guys practicing, Cross or Jones. One of those guys better be good to go. All right, San Francisco's side of things, apparently they did actually practice today, which surprises me because they played Sunday night, but let's run through it. So Renardo Green, full participant with a neck injury. I believe he's been out a little bit, so that's actually a big get back for them. They need some corners because they have some issues at that position, and they added to those issues on Sunday night. So that's an encouraging sign for him, although neck injuries, I don't think you can take anything for granted. Everything else, though, a little bit dicey. We've got a bunch of limited participants, which typically is going to be good news. You got Grossmatos with a knee injury, limited. George Kittle with the ankle injury, limited. So that's encouraging for them because, again, apparently on Sunday, Kittle's ankle was so swollen he couldn't even test it. So the fact that he was able to do something indicates that he is coming back from it, and it does increase his odds of being able to play on Sunday or Saturday. For whatever it's worth, Adam Schefter felt like Kittle was a long shot. So we'll just have to see how the rest of the week goes, but it is encouraging that he was able to do something today. Ricky Pearsall limited with the knee and the ankle injury, so that's a little bit uncomfortable for them, but limited on Tuesday probably means you're okay. And Upton Stout, I'm going to say the same thing about him that I said about Shaheed. He's limited after the concussion on Sunday, but that doesn't mean you're going to be good to play on Saturday. There's a procedure you have to get through. There's a concussion protocol to get through, and it's very rare that a player is able to get through it that quickly. So even though Upton Stout is limited, I don't really like his odds to be able to play. So those are the limited guys. Now we've got some DNPs, and we got some pretty big ones. So Juszczyk, the fullback with the hip injury, DNP, one of the few fullbacks in this league that really matters at this point, right? Probably still the best fullback in the league by a pretty wide margin. Now, he's old, so him missing a practice on a Tuesday doesn't really mean much, but it's not a rest day. It's a hip injury, so something's up there. Christian McCaffrey with the back injury, DNP. So we all saw it on Sunday night. His back was getting worked on. It was bugging him like crazy. And look, we know Christian McCaffrey, older player, a lot of miles. They've overloaded his load this year. They have overloaded him with work this season. So if the wheels are going to start to come off now, I mean, it's the worst possible time, obviously, but it's not a surprise. It will not be a surprise if the 49ers start to not get the best out of McCaffrey. And if he starts to miss time, that's not going to be surprising either. So, yeah, the back injury, DNP, we'll keep track of it the rest of the week. I'm sure he'll play, but what will he be able to do? So that's a very big deal. If they don't have McCaffrey, what they can do on Saturday becomes very limited. But I do think he'll play, to be clear. Will he be able to play effectively? Less clear. Keon White, defensive end. This is the guy they traded for back at the deadline from New England. Groin injury, DNP. And normally injuries to guys like White or Grossmatos wouldn't matter that much. But for this team, which is very thin up front, they need every little bit of help they can get. So those guys potentially being out or not being able to go in full is a problem. And of course, the big one, Trent Williams with the hamstring, a DNP. Now, the 49ers are trying to say he has a chance to play, but I am 39 years old or whatever it is, 10 years worth of games piling on top of each other. If he plays, that is a Christmas miracle for the 49ers. I'm not expecting him to be able to go, and I think that the Niners will be very fortunate to have him back in time for the postseason. And even though they may say what they're going to say, I'm not so sure that I'm kind of feeling like they probably already conceded this one, and that's a big loss. He's still a great player for them. He's still a Pro Bowl quality left tackle, and not having him out there, that offensive line quickly becomes one of the worst in football. I know they got it done against the Bears. They did what they needed to do, but it was you still want to have your guys for the most important game of the year. So they got big problems over here. I definitely want to see what happens tomorrow. I definitely want the clarity of another injury report, but I mean, Kittle, McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Pearsall, even Juszczyk, that's most of your offense, man. There's not really that much left when you take away those guys. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens with Seattle as well. And I'm going to say it again. Everything here looks more or less fine to me, on schedule or better. But the left tackle situation alone is terrifying. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a great rest of your evening. Probably going to stream on Twitch later. And see you guys tomorrow with more videos.